Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts. And I'm standing here next to a mid-50s GM two-door station wagon, which means it's got to be a Chevy Nomad, right? Well, not so fast. This is actually a 1957 Opel. In particular, this is an Opel Olympia Record Caravan, 11 syllables. Yes, that's correct. Opel Olympia Record Caravan. And this is something that was made in Germany. Now you got to remember that Adam Opel AG was founded in Germany in 1862 as a manufacturer of sewing machines and bicycles. By 1899, they built their first car. And in 1929, GM bought Adam Opel AG and actually hung on to Opel through 2017. And yeah, including World War II. During the period of fascism, Opel was nationalized, and the money that was being earned in Germany building things like the Opel Blitz military truck didn't go to General Motors shareholders. But after World War II, things were restored, the order was restored, and again, GM owned Opel all the way till 2017. And today, Opel is owned by Stellantis, the same company that owns Dodge, Jeep, Eagle, Chrysler, etc. Not Eagle, but so yeah, Opel is actually a Chrysler product, kind of by distant relation today. Now, this is a special car. These were built in Germany, but designed in Detroit. And we can see Detroit styling touches, sort of the small fins here, and almost a 55 Chevy effect here with sort of the porch, if you will, the castle porch right there, and again, the lucite taillights. The chrome on this, and again with the word caravan here. And the beauty of these things, these were all two-doors. The subsequent Record that followed this one could be available as a four-door. Here's one of the original wheel covers right here, kind of a cool thing, gold anodized center. Steel, but a little baby cap that would go on there, and again, it's a steel piece again, but this is stamped in Germany. These are the original wheel covers to this type of car. Now again, two-door body style always on these things. No wraparound windows on this generation, but that would come later. Again, the two-door body is a very important thing. Most hot rodders and customizers like a two-door wagon because it's less less truck-like and more car-like in a way. But again, this has an uncommon factory luggage rack on the top. This is not an aftermarket piece. This is actually born for the Opel application, made of aluminum. And again, probably recycled Messerschmitt bombers or B-50, B-17s or 29s, who knows. But anyway, aluminum rack here on the top. And the wraparound windshield and the dog legs speak very clearly to the fact this was designed in Detroit by GM Styling Studios. And love this. Here's the speedometer right here, up to 100 miles per hour. I think that's pretty optimistic. Little clock, little gas gauge here, water temperature right there. And I believe that's metric. Is that metric? That is metric. I think so. Is that 212? Yeah, that's interesting. Pretty cool. This is the gauge cluster right here, and certainly made in Germany, but again, made without metric stuff for the US market. And the compact car craze was on in the mid-50s. We'll get to that in a second. But these cars were all unit construction, the Opel Record. And we can look right here with the front of the car. We can see the subframe sticking out. But again, that was welded to the bottom of the tub. Here's the firewall. And this is not ram air. This is not an air grabber from a Mopar. This is actually the cowl vent, which is kind of a hangover from the 1920s and 30s when the vent was the only way to get air into the car. But again, the wraparound windshield seen here, very much a GM styling trait. In fact, here's part of that original window right here. You can see that crazy wraparound thing. And I think it was Pittsburgh Plate Glass, PPG, that pioneered the wraparound window, or certainly they were right in there in the early 1950s when cars went from flat windows to wraparounds to allow the stylists to come up with more streamlined effects like that. Let's walk around to the back. There's more to be seen on this one. And again, these would have had a 1.8 liter pushrod 4-cylinder engine, no V8s, of course, although hot rodders could certainly put an LS in one of these things or something like that and have a lot of fun. But again, the aluminum continues around the window trim. And here's the safety glass. You can see right here, Duro Glass. Liz Sickert, this is German right here. And again, having done its part right down here, we can see where the glass crystallizes on impact right here, as opposed to slicing and dicing the body going through it. Now, windshields generally were not made of this stuff. They actually had a laminated sheeting, which would fracture but not splinter, and that would be a different type of safety glass. But getting back to the compact car craze of the 1950s, this is, of course, Fiat was in there punching with their, this is Italy, of course, was in there punching with these micro cars, the Fiat 600, the 500. And again, in the mid-1950s, Volkswagen wasn't the only import car that was making big waves and eating up a big part of the GM, the Detroit pizza. This is the Auto Union catalog right here, and this is again another German car. Auto Union program, probably 1960 or so, this one here. And here we see all the different Auto Union vehicles, interesting stuff. And if you own an Audi, that Auto Union 4-ring Olympic-looking logo will certainly be familiar. Auto Union, of course, was a German combine of several car makers, and Audi grew out of Auto Union, including some military vehicles right there. Almost like a Saab, but it ain't. And furthermore, we get into DKW, another weird German car, Germany's wonder car, the DKW. And these actually had a continuous ratio transmission. We'll get to that in a second. But there it is right there. The styling, not done in Detroit for sure on that one. And DKW had nothing to do with General Motors or Ford. It was strictly a German or European company. But again, these had a 2-cycle engine. And that was one of the big things about the DKW. And it also had the there's the suspension, the Saxo-Mat clutch, and the different body styles available here. And again, 2-door wagons at the bottom were pretty much the rule. These cars were so short in wheelbase, there wasn't enough room for a rear set of doors. But getting back to this Opel, General Motors right here, this is 1968, of course, a couple generations after, but Buick was the division that General Motors tasked with selling Opels in the United States. We can see it right here, Buick Opel Kadett, the Mini Brute. And we can see right here, this is the, I think the 4th generation Opel Kadett right here. Similar bones to this wagon we're looking at here, but again, if you went to buy an Opel in the United States, you were going to your Buick dealer. And kind of cool, the Mini Brute, the elephant, they always kind of play it up that the Opel was, here, I love these, the Opel Mini Brute Rally. Beautiful car, chrome wheels, driving lights, stripes, blackout, that was all factory stuff. These are getting to be very collectible. But long before Buick was tasked with selling Opels in this country, this is an example of one of the first of the captive imports, if you will, in the United States auto industry. And these were designed to fight off the Volkswagen Beetle and did a fair job. Something like 400,000 of these things were made in a 7-year production run, but not a lot came to the United States. For the most part, these things stayed in Europe where they were built. But again, it's a small chapter in Buick and General Motors history that Opel was part of the family for a good long time. And of course, now they're part of Stellantis, which is part of Dodge and Chrysler and Jeep and Ram. It's a strange, incestuous world in the auto industry. But if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel, ring the bell, give us a like, share the video, all that good stuff. And remember too, when you ring that bell, you'll be aware of the next video, which is tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.